Hello guys, just scanning for YouTube the other day, and I was looking at a topic that's affected me severely in my life. I've been through hell with it, and thankfully by the grace of God today I'm doing quite good. Hopefully I can keep that. What I'm going to be speaking about a little bit today, and I'm not a YouTuber, I don't normally make these videos, is alcoholic with withdrawal, hallucinosis and seizures. I don't want to speak for too long, so I'm going to kind of give you the shortened version of this. Basically, I started to take panic attacks when I was 17, and I developed depression, quite bad OCD, derealization. I like I said, major depressive disorder. I really wasn't well, and I actually came to the stage where I had to come off my work. That was when I was, I think, 28. So everything got too much. 11 years of mental illness, and I came off my work. So what I done was I started to have a wee drink. Wasn't ever a drinker in my life. Didn't ever touch my first drink till I was like 27. I honestly had no interest in alcohol, but I noticed it was a friend in the work says when you have a beer, because he noticed I was anxious one day, he says a beer will calm you down. It did, so I started to drink, and then I it did calm me down. I had a few Stellas and felt a little bit better, so I thought I'd found a cure. So I thought, well, I'll just do this then. And it started at first, I would drink every night. So I'd be, very light to start with, maybe 6 cans or something a night. And then I woke up one morning and I said, this is after about 2 years of doing this, drinking maybe 6 to 10, about 10 cans every night by this time. And I woke up in the morning and I was feeling crap, and I said, so why don't I just drink now? Why'd you have to wait till tonight? So, revelation, yeah. Started drinking in the morning, then dinner time, night time, and this went on for ages, years, and the drinking got heavier. Started going to spirits. I was drinking spirits in the morning, dinner time, night time. It just, in the end, I started to get really bad I started to feel really crap if I didn't have it. I felt even more anxious, I felt even more depressed, so I became alcohol dependent. My body was actually dependent on this, but I didn't realise how much. So this went on for 10 years. I'm 38 now, I'm just sort of out of this. This went on for about 10 years, drinking morning, noon and night. Heavy. Litre and a half of vodka and 6 cans of Stella a day, no problem. Every day, vodka in the morning. Used to love Bombay Spice gin. Gin, was always drunk. And I noticed that even when I was drunk, my hands were starting to shake badly. My hands were starting to tremor. And when I woke up in the morning and obviously I'd been sleeping that night for maybe 8, 9 hours, so I hadn't had alcohol in my body in that time. I'd wake up vomiting, shaking like mad, sweating, feeling sick. And I had to get to the bottle straight away. When I got the bottle in me, felt a little bit better, and it was getting bad. Like I was only up maybe a couple of hours that day, and I drank a half bottle of vodka. I can remember waking up one morning at 6 o'clock in the morning and drinking a 70cl bottle of Bacardi. Falling back to sleep for a couple of hours, getting up and just continuing drinking again all day. So it came to the stage where this was going too far. I says, I'm going to stop drinking. So I tried to stop. Wow. I ended up in 9 wells. With the withdrawals were that severe. It was shocking to see. They asked me to hold out my hands, and my hands were actually, they were convulsing that much. They were going about a foot up and down in the air. I couldn't hold a hang. I was feeling sick, restless, anxious, just totally agitated, totally gasping for a drink, absolutely desperate. So I got kept in 9 wells hospital, and they gave me benzodiazepine, they gave me Valium, and the next day after having a whole day off the drink but on the Valium, I couldn't walk, and I says, nurse, is this normal? I can't walk. I was struggling to go to the toilet. It's just across the ward from me. Says, yeah, because your brain's got that used to alcohol, it doesn't know how to function without it yet. We're going to keep giving you benzodiazepines till you get off it. But It was during COVID all this was happening, and I didn't want to, there was no visitors allowed, and I was just sitting in the hospital so bored every day, and I says, no, I'll do this myself at home, I'll do it myself at home, and not realising I was feeling okay off the benzodiazepines, a little bit better. Got home, benzodiazepines wore off. Well, I signed myself out the hospital, says I'm going home. They advised me not to, I says I am. Went home, benzodiazepines wore off. And the thing I had with the benzodiazepines anyway, they were helping me, but I was getting 20 milligrams every 4 hours, and the 20 milligrams was doing me about 2 hours, and I'd start withdrawing quite bad again. So I went home and was like, I'm just going to try and reduce my units and all this. So I was trying very hard. I was with an alcohol worker by this time, and she said, just if you're drinking 50 units a day, try and cut the next day to 48. Try and take it down about 10% every day if you can. You know, try and work it that way, come off it slowly. So I gave this a shot, and it was very successful. I came from probably drinking 1.5 litres of vodka a day, maybe a bit more, and I managed to get down to 3 bottles of cider, still quite strong cider, Henry Western. I think it's 8.2%, 500ml bottle, so it's still like drinking a bottle of wine, but I managed to get right down to about this, and I thought, here, I'm getting away with this, I'm feeling alright, I'm feeling like I can stop now, so I decided to stop completely. Wow. What happened was I thought, yeah, I'm feeling alright. I start to eat again. You don't really eat much when you're heavily drinking. I'd lost weight. One of the reasons I was in hospital that time was I had malnutrition. So I was in my kitchen. I came through the kitchen, walked through the dining room into the living room, and as I walked through into the living room, I heard something. I heard a voice saying, Paul. So I thought, my mum sometimes comes, my mum babysits, so she sometimes comes up and visits. So I thought, my mum's in. I says, what is it, mum? How you doing? No one was there. And I was like, that was weird. Positive. Someone shouted my name there. No one there. It's like, okay. So that was about 6 o'clock in the evening. So later on that night, maybe 10, 11, I was absolutely exhausted. I hadn't been sleeping properly, and I actually lay on the sofa and I started to fall asleep. And I said, I was feeling lucky, thinking I've got myself off this alcohol with the withdrawals. Next thing, I couldn't believe what happened, and it scarred me, honestly. This has only ever happened to me. I'm going to share another quick story after it twice in my life. A woman dressed in black came running at me from where that voice came earlier on, behind my fruit machine I've got in the house, and peered right over me, right in my face, and says, I told you, Paul. And I'm not joking, I jump up in fear. By this time, my mum was in the house. I ran upstairs. Imagine this, a 38-year-old man running to his mum. I was that afraid. Went upstairs, and my mum seen something was wrong with me straight away. She says, what's wrong? By this time, I'm hearing stuff and seeing things all over the place. This black shadow figure's just leaning at me, lunging at me, tormenting me, saying to me, come, Paul. I don't understand what they meant. It's just this very gentle, quiet, sharp voice. Come, Paul. Come over to some dark side or something. Kept seeing them. Every time I tried to get to sleep, this face would come peering, and I was like, the hell with this. I don't know what's going on here. I'm going mad. These voices, and I now know which was alcoholic hallucinosis, which is a very frightening thing. So I had 4 bottles of these Henry Westerns downstairs, quite strong cider. That'd be about 4 bottles of wine. And I was like, right, I'm going to go down and get them. As I went down to get them, I actually shouted, like, there was a man standing at the bottom of the stairs staring at me. And I was like, what's going on? And then when I sort of gasped in like fear, my dog came out the cupboard. And this is the weird thing. When my dog walked towards this man, the man walked away. Thinking, I can't believe this. And I'm compos mentis. I'm fully compos mentis. I'm not drunk. I'm actually suffering from not being drunk. So I was like, I'm going down to get them bottles. Went in, grabbed them bottles, turned round. There was a Doberman on the second stair down, snarling at me. And I was like, what's going on? Seen the Grim Reaper. Got upstairs, the hell with this. Down 4 bottles as fast as I could. While that was happening, started to hear music in my ears. I heard the song that I'd heard years ago that I didn't even know the lyrics to. I could hear it all clearly. Thought someone had turned the radio or the television on, or someone was watching YouTube. It was 4 o'clock in the morning by this time. And no one was playing any music. Went outside, could still hear it as loud as day. It was playing in my head. 4 bottles kicked in. everything settled down, everything stopped. Spoke to my alcohol worker about it. She says you've suffered alcoholic hallucinosis, which can happen in very quite acute, severe cases when people have been heavy alcoholics and have just decided to stop instantly. Very dangerous, not advisable. So okay, so what I done was I was really feared. I went on a really slow sort of withdrawal after that and managed to get myself off it. I think I was sober for 27 days and I felt better. I was eating fruit and vegetables, getting vitamins back in my body, trying to get myself right. By this time, obviously, I had liver damage, but they told me it could repair if you stopped. Peripheral neuropathy in my feet, couldn't feel nerves in my feet, damage through the drink. I'd aged myself shockingly. I was a quite a state anyway. Was off the drink for 27 days for whatever reason, I don't know. They said I'll not ever put through that again. Went back to it. 9-month year bender, straight every day, morning and night. Tried again. I cut a long story short because this video is getting a bit long. You know what can be like after drinking for one night? The hangover the next day is horrendous. Imagine drinking for... wait there, my neighbours there don't really want to hear this. I'm speaking a bit loud. Let me shut the door. Imagine drinking for a year straight and then just stopping. I did. I got sick of it. My life consisted of lying on the sofa, drinking a bottle, waking up, drinking, just sleeping, waking up, drinking, not even eating. Lost a lot of weight. I'd actually turned grey. I turned grey in the space of about a year. I was just physically ill. It's like, I need to get off this drink, got off it. And I'm gonna, a long story short, it's the worst alcoholic hallucinosis I've ever had in my life, ever. But it went further this time. And it went past the stage of alcoholic hallucinosis. It took me to the point, I actually took a seizure. So what happened was I started to see, stopped the drink, I started to see, like The Ring, people walking through the screen of the television, chasing me upstairs. I started to see cats walking, a cat sitting in the dog's basket with a human evil face. I can't believe what I was seeing, twisted, demonic faces. I didn't get the horrible hallucinations this time, just these heavy visual things were moving about, everything was going weird. This was a weird thing, and thank God we were due to get a new sofa anyway. I was actually lying on the sofa with my hands over my eyes trying to block this out, and opened my eyes and I seen a rat coming through my sofa. Actual rat coming through my sofa, ran towards me, so I got a blanket, threw it over the rat. I seen the rat swimming under the blanket like this and burrowed its way into the sofa. And I went up and told my dad there's a rat in the sofa, and my dad's like, what the hell are you on about? I was going through, I think, delirium tremens. I was delusional. Says there's a rat in the sofa. I went and got a Stanley knife and slashed my sofa open to try and let the rat out, and I'm looking all over the house for this rat. Absolutely unbelievable. And then I went through to the kitchen, says, Dad, I found the rat, I found it, open the back door. And I said, no one to kill it, we'll just get out the back door. So we closed the dining room door, and Dad gave me a brush. I says, I've got it. It's snarling at me. It was hissing, snarling, going mental, this rat. And I was sitting, hitting it. My dad says, what are you doing? My dad came through, was hitting a block of wood. Says, can you not see it? Says, there's nothing there, Paul. Honestly, the hallucinosis, the evil stuff I seen, there must be a satanic element to it. The darkness, and the absolute delirium, this and that, this went on for hours and hours and hours, and I didn't want to continue and drink because I didn't want to get deeper into alcoholism. I wanted free, I wanted off it. The doctors wouldn't help me anymore because by this time I'd been home detoxed twice, I'd been detoxed in hospital, and I'd been in 9 wells, and they'd given me the medication from the chemist several times, and every time I got off it, I seemed to just keep going back to it to try and get relief from the depression, anxiety. So it's happened this night, and I was just so exhausted. I just lay on the bed, and I don't know how I managed it. It must have just been pure exhaustion. And I did have some quetiapine, which is a medication I get for anxiety from the doctor. It doesn't really work. It does make you a little bit sleepy. I'm on Prozac as well, but I got this medication, and so I took it, and it kind of put me to sleep. I woke up at 5 in the morning, and I actually woke up taking a seizure. Now, I didn't know at the time it was a seizure, because I thought for a seizure you had to pass out. My whole body was convulsing. I couldn't stop convulsing. My head, legs, arms, I had no control of them, got thrown onto the floor, was taking a seizure. This went on for about 10 minutes, and it stopped. And I just grabbed the bottle immediately and downed it. I was like, oh, this is hell. Then what I went and Googled later on, I checked out. I actually should have went to hospital after that, but I thought it couldn't have been a seizure because I wasn't unconscious. You don't have to be unconscious to take a seizure. That's a fallacy. You can take what's called a focal seizure, which is a seizure where you're actually awake, you're aware of what's going on, you've got no control of your body. So I actually took a seizure coming off alcohol, and I actually learned that I started to get really educated from my health nurse. She was an alcohol worker, and she started to tell me how serious that alcohol withdrawal can be. It can actually kill you. It can actually take your life. You can die. Many people have died through alcohol withdrawal, delirium tremens, seizures, and alcohol's nothing to be mucked about with now. I'm on God's grace just now. I'm doing well. I'm afraid to go back to drink. I drunk quite heavy, and it's not a big headed thing or anything. I probably drunk heavier than most, and it was because of, maybe not, I don't know, but it was because of my mental health, and I just don't want to go back to that. I wouldn't want anyone to go through that. What I would say was to anyone watching this, if you are going through alcoholism and you're thinking about coming off alcohol, you've been drinking long term, be careful. Your body will go into shock, and you might get some very uncomfortable things. And like I say, this can be a very serious thing. This can lead to death. I actually got told, I actually found out quite recently that actually when someone comes in with severe alcohol withdrawal, they actually put them in the intensive care unit, because even with appropriate treatment, there's a possibility they're going to pass away. So it's a very serious thing. Don't dabble with it. Now, if you are wanting to come off alcohol, get help. You'll have to go to your doctor, speak to him, tell him you're wanting off it. I don't know where you are or where you're listening from, but here they do like you can get a week's detox it's in Perth. I'm in Arbroath, it's in Perth, about 30 miles from here. It's just a week, you go and get medicated stuff to get you off it, gives you a start. Or I've got agoraphobia as well, so I couldn't do that. So what they done with me was, because they realised I needed help, I couldn't go into hospital for agoraphobia. I struggled with it. They gave me a home detox. They actually sent a couple of mental health professionals out with medicine, and I got my blood pressure taken every day. I got breathalyzed to make sure I wasn't drinking, and they came with the medication I needed, and they got me off it. But it's a very serious thing, alcohol withdrawal. It's not to be taken lightly, and I know people like alcohol and stuff, but I honestly, I wouldn't advise it. And certainly if you're suffering from anything, don't take alcohol to try and dull the pain if it's a physical illness or anything, heartache or anything like that, because it can become problematic, because you need to keep taking it to sort of drown stuff out. And like I say, you can end up in a very bad state. So that's my alcoholic hallucinosis, very brief story. Seizure, horrible hallucinosis, DTs, shakes, just hell, absolute hell. And I'll just end with this. Through all this alcoholism, I wasn't even a drinker that drank outside. I sat on my own. It's sad. And just got drunk. And just sat there and got tanned every day. Just absolutely drunk into oblivion. Had no hope. You had suicide attempts through this as well. I just had enough. Done some stupid things through it. I just couldn't take it anymore. So by God's grace, like I say, I'm doing well just now, and I'll have to keep that up. If you're struggling, get help. I probably won't get much views on this. I'm not doing it for views. Maybe someone might come across it that's going through a similar situation, but please go to your doctor, and hopefully they'll give you Librium, or you need a benzodiazepine, diazepam, Librium. A benzodiazepine is the only thing that can take away alcohol withdrawal. Either that or more alcohol, that's it. or you'll have to wean yourself off it, which you've got to be disciplined to do. It's very hard. Okay, God bless everyone, and I hope that this video has helped, and I hope that stay healthy, stay safe, and like I say, I hope it's helped. See you later. God bless.